Hello and welcome to Bonus Action Heroes Read RPG Reddit Stories. You can also listen to this in podcast format, just search for Bonus Action Heroes wherever you get your podcasts. This episode we discuss how roleplay drives the story forward. My DM didn't allow us to buy a dog for 300 gold. This is from user BioZ2 from RD&D. My group and I travelled to a big city with the plan to buy supplies, and we came up with the idea of adopting a dog, because it would be cute. So we asked our DM if there was a pet store in town, and where we could adopt a dog. He said there was a shop and we could visit it. So after we bought our supplies, we decided to visit the pet store. In the shop itself, it was very loud, and there were a variety of animals. We decided to adopt a dog, so we tried to convince the seller that we would like to adopt the dog for 50 gold. But he refused, and we tried with more and more gold and persuasion checks of 19 and 20, but our DM still didn't allow us to adopt one. We also told him that we only wanted him because it was a doggo and not so that it would support us in battle. When none of that helped, we were on the verge of executing the seller and stealing a dog. But our DM assured us that even though the store is very loud, parentheses, bird and dog noises, close parentheses, and has a few windows, the guards will notice immediately and execute us if we even try. So we left the store without a dog and broken hearts. But then what was the point of the store if he would never have allowed us to adopt a dog anyway? Edit. The main reason we wanted the dog was for a shepherd, because we didn't manage to save all of his sheep from wolves and one died in the process, which is why we thought the dog could help him protect.
Oh. Feel sad now.
Sorry, it wasn't meant to be a sad note, because we are the party that loves to adopt. So the first thing I thought when I read this was, yeah, you want to help the shepherd. Yeah, you just want a cute little doggo in your game.
What's wrong with that? Why would you, as a GM, let them go there if you had no intention of letting them buy one? I don't get it. The players want one. Giving the players one would make them happy, would make them more engaged in your game, would give them, frankly, a dog that would be vulnerable in a lot of the places they're going, so it gives them stakes.
A player can just not think about their animal companion, and they become collateral damage, and then it becomes a very sad storyline. So weirdly, maybe the DM is saying, like a parent might say, you want this fluffy thing now, but I don't know if you have the emotional skin to deal with not having it later.
It is a potential reason that GM may have a really good handle on their players.
Oh my god, okay, another comment from Daddy Bison. Maybe you should convince them to let you adopt a goldfish or a hamster first, to show that the party is capable enough to take care of a dog. Another thing I thought about was it could be that they think, maybe they're really intelligent players, maybe they think they'll be able to use the dog like you might have used, like you use your wild shape as a druid to find something through smell or superior smell or hearing, or to sneak in somewhere. There are spells that you can use to look through animals, aren't there? So maybe they think that gives them a bit too much power than I would like at this point.
You know, what you've described there is every reason to do it. Creating play, giving them options. I mean, it's a dog, right? It's not a familiar. It's not a ranger's companion, which you can direct and tell what to do, and it will act in combat. It's a dog. Could you imagine telling Percy to...
Percy, my dog.
Yeah, Percy, your dog. Please go into the supermarket and spy on the person buying turnips. You don't think he would just go, the what? The where? And just look at you?
I think if he genuinely, okay, I think if we stood outside Sainsbury's and I went, it's okay, go in, he wouldn't know what to do to start with, but his nose will tell him, because that's what he does when he looks at a dog across the way. He'll go, Mother, may I go talk to dog?
May I go eat all of the steaks?
And I say, yes, son, you may go talk to dog, or no, son, dog is on lead. To be fair, yeah, if it's a sandwich, it doesn't have to consent. So he'll just go, I'm going to go talk to that sandwich. Yeah. Oh, it fell in my mouth. Oh, it's gone.
Yeah. Oh, the other half did as well. Exactly. So there's two sides to this for me. The dog is not going to be highly intelligent. Yeah, they might have speak with animals, but it's still a dog. They're still going to persuade it to go into a dangerous place or to go and spy on someone. It's not going to be entirely straightforward, but it might create some cool play. Well, imagine Tink, if you got hold of a massive dog, you could ride it into battle. Yeah, you could, but you would have to train it over time. Yeah,
I think
looks awesome.
role play with animals is some of the best stuff I've seen. Like in Baldur's Gate, all of the role play with animals.
Hello, servant ape.
Because they do have a lower intelligence, they have very basic motives, and to get an insight into that is always just so wholesome. And I think, like what you said, they're not just going to go and do what you tell them to. They're going to question it because it's not what they usually do.
Didn't Hazel turn Tok into a spider or something at one point? Polymorphed him, thinking, "Oh, he'll go and he'll go and pull the lever or something." And of course, I had an intelligence of like 4 or something. I didn't know what a lever was anymore. I suspect that's probably high up the list. Is the dog role playing an animal? The GM's not comfortable with it, but you don't have to sit there and bark and beg for treats.
It is another thing you can describe it. When I first started GMing, very, very first game I GM'd, it was Lost Mines of Phandelver, and the first thing that you fight is some goblins and some wolves in a cave.
Okay.
And I remember my player rolling a natural 20 on their animal handling with a wolf. And I was just, as a new DM, I was like, I don't understand how this wolf can be beneficial to them. How much will it resist? It just threw my head completely off. So, to an extent, get it, but that was my very first game.
And that's a wolf, not a dog. They just need to talk to the GM and say, "Look, I don't understand why you don't want us to have this. Is there something I'm missing? Or is it that you don't want us to get a chihuahua and get you to sit there yapping?"
I just found this lovely comment from Bunghole Bandito. This sounds like an origin story. This dog's fate is not yours, heroes. His destiny shall carry him further than you ever could. To bring him with you is not only to steal his future from him, but to rob the very multiverse itself of one of its greatest legends to be. In time you will understand. You shall meet again. Pray he deems you a good boy when
I love it. I wish I couldn't have put it better myself. I wish I could put it like that. That's genius. It is genius. It's a good uplifting response to a slightly sad story.
Okay, TLDR, everyone but one person in my party stole from the guards, and at the end of the session they all got captured. But I don't want to punish the one player who tried preventing the thievery. This is from our RPG Horror Stories and the user Amateur DM 752. New DM here. In my few months of DMing, I have a party of people who, although a bit chaotic, are really good players. We met through college, we started a campaign, homebrewed with a few campaign borrowed elements, and we have gotten into a problem which I'll spin a little yarn and tell you all about it. Here is the cast. Lila Bonkster, the ex-barbarian fighter orc that wants gold to become wealthy. Timothy Smith, the rogue mastermind bard multiclass who wishes monetary gain for himself to become more powerful. Corvlox Withmin, the death domain Asimar cleric who wishes to make their death god happy through whatever means. And last but not least, Kipper Twoclaw, our wizard kobold who wishes to be more magically inclined to help those who cannot protect themselves. The party winds up in one of the major cities created, and I've set up a line of shops to allow the party to shop around and gather gear they need to help them along. The party started to split and grab items they need as players along with potions. Everyone but Kipper started to haggle, which is fine, but then haggling turned into demands, which then turned into stealing, which then became a stealing spree, and that then became a robbing spree. Kipper saw the snowball happen and went to help protect the people his party was threatening, casting mage armor, shield, etc. The inevitable happened. The guards surrounded the party and took them into custody, but Kipper and their player did a lot to prevent death and destruction to the shops and such. And I don't want his player being punished for doing the right thing. I don't know what to do.
Wow.
There's two things here, right? We can address the problem, but first, should we address how you name your characters? Because these were particularly excellent.
I liked the name as soon as I heard the first one, which was, could you just remind me?
Lila bonked, sir.
As soon as I heard that, I thought, yeah, this is a group that like to have fun.
They're the fighter, so I could just immediately see, that cartoon bonk whenever they hit someone over the head with a club. And I love that
Probably
was
got a club.
followed. Yeah, that was followed by Timothy Smith. How can you tell they're a human without saying they're human?
And that they're sneaky anonymous type with the surname Smith.
Mm. And now let's guess the edgelord in the party, Corvlox Withmin. Deaf Domain, Asimar Cleric.
Guilty. No, it sounds like a good group. And do you know what? As soon as I heard they had a kobold in there, I'm there for that.
We love the kobold race, don't we?
We do. Nice twist that the kobold is the good one. It sounds like he's the one trying to do the right thing. If you want a game to feel like it has substance and the stakes matter, there has to be consequences if you do something wrong and do it badly, which it sounds like the party were pretty blatant and open. So I think they would be looking at prison time, if no one died at least. So then you get into the whole prison break sort of scenario, which can be great fun. They end up in a cell, they end up without their equipment. They have to figure out a way to get out, whether that's bribery, making a deal with the town guard to go and deal with an enemy of the city or the town because, they're Suicide Squad style. There's so many options that you can do to get the party out adventuring again. Think about Out of the Abyss when you were in the police station in Gracklestug and someone was invisible in a city where there's lots of invisible people. And yeah, someone got bloodlust and chased them down. And
don't like being spied on.
Exactly. But that's part of the course in that town. Kind of didn't intend to execute them, but kind of executed them without trial or without any real evidence in a city that is very heavy on law and order. I think you had a good relationship with the head of the guard at that point, but they were in a difficult situation. So they said someone needs to take the fall for this. And
I said him.
Yeah, you said him. Pointed at someone else. And then I gave you a time limit in which to gain evidence that the person that you had killed actually was part of some conspiracy or not. And if you didn't, then he was going in front of the dragon. If you did, he was free to go. So it's an opportunity to take the story in another direction. So don't be afraid of it. But there is absolutely no reason why the player that tried to help should get in trouble. Maybe a witness will come forward later and say that they saw you trying to save people and he can get his criminal record expunged or something. And perhaps that character gets rewarded.
Well, like you said, I think this is a good example for the party to understand their actions have consequences, not just in terms of the gameplay, but in terms of them functioning as a party. This is a team. So even though Kipper didn't do anything, they're probably going to face some sort of consequence and should, so that they can experience through roleplay and story, maybe some shame, maybe some guilt.
Exactly, maybe some inter-party friction, some fun role play, some deep conversations. It can really generate a lot of play. Again, you've got to be careful with this because we've all been in groups where there's one player who always pulls the opposite direction to everyone else, and usually it's the chaos pulling the opposite direction, as it sounds almost like there's a lot of chaos and then there's one person trying to do the right thing. So you just need to be careful you don't spoil it out of character by having people with different aims, which is back to session zeros and having we've been playing Vampire, haven't we? And Vampire's got a really nice system called tenets where you, as a group up front, you go through it and say, what are the things that our party, coterie, as they call it in Vampire, what are the things that they will adhere to? So the rules might be don't harm innocents or, only kill bad guys or whatever it might be. But I think it's really good to have that framework so everyone knows what they're working to. You don't end up with, You want to play an
disparate
honourable
party.
character, yeah, and you end up murdering a shopkeeper to steal their buttons or whatever.
And I just hate to leave you behind on such a great adventure. There could be buttons.
There's a comment from Meandering Duck which says that the bigger problem now is the party's essentially split. Even if the rest get out, why do they want to travel with Kipper and vice versa? So yeah, just that comment supports what you said. Everyone can have their own motives, obviously, but ultimately you're working together.
It's a real interesting and difficult line to play, isn't it? If you think about your Curse of Strahd game, there was a situation where my character quite openly wanted to kill the two NPCs in a recent game. The rest of them didn't want to. So I could have easily gone, just attacked them, started a fight, and done that's what my character would do. Because the reality is that probably is what my character would do. But I was aware out of character that I need the consent of the whole party, that they all want to engage in the story in that way. And they didn't. So I moved on. Yeah, I had some in-character digs at the others for being cowards or whatever it was. But it is.
The thing is, your character would know that too. In character, you'd know that too. You've been traveling with them long enough. You've not just met them. That your character would be weighing that up in their head. Is this a hill worth dying on? Kind of thing. Do I push this and have no support and potentially aggravate the other party members and make it awkward going forward when we have bigger problems to deal with?
Yeah, exactly.
Just don't look at it as punishing. They're consequences. It's
yeah,
roleplay.
exactly.
It's good.
Insert Scooby-Doo transition here.
Thanks for watching, and if you've enjoyed this, please don't forget to like and subscribe. You can also join the live chat on Twitch at Bonus Action Heroes. If you want to suggest Reddit stories to cover, please comment below or join our Discord linked in the description.